I
sure.
got you. I
And
got you.
I'm still bullish on Opulous, like, but again, I see as of right now, the money is coming from making the investment on the S NFT. If you did not sell, that's where our money's at right now.
Right.
Exactly a 90% drop
Yeah,
from all time highs.
yeah. So
I sold. Let's see, where did I
on the way
sell?
up, smart move. I
I sold like right around here.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's about as
that's a
close to the
big
top
bag.
as most people get.
Yeah, it was
Yeah,
pretty amazing. Although I have been buying probably since around right here. So
you gave a
obviously,
little bit back.
yeah, obviously I didn't have the best entry here, but to be honest, we're getting back to my
Yeah,
original entry point around 70. Well, not my original. I bought first day just to have a little piece around 250, but I did the bulk of my buying around 67 to 70 cents.
Yep.
Which if we can get there again, I probably would buy a little bit more, even though I would have loved to see the video you were going to do with him because I really want to hear more about Opal use cases because
yes,
as of right now, everything that Opal and I think Opulus is a great project, but just like I think Lofty is a great project, that doesn't mean the token is a great token because Lofty doesn't even
yep.
need a token, and there's a chance unless they find great use cases for it, there's a chance Opulus also doesn't need a token because what is Opulus doing? Essentially, they are allowing artists to sell their songs, tokenize their songs, and tokenize their music and sell it. If you can just buy those songs with USDC, I am worried that I just still am not sure what the clear use case for the token itself is, and I really hope that he does come onto your show and gets to
Me
answer
too.
that question directly because I really want to hear it straight from him what the use case will be and not just from like one tweet where he's clapping back at somebody.
Yeah.
Yeah, like you said, with Lofty is a great point of discussion. That product is fire. I'm pretty sure all three of us has invested in properties on Lofty AI. We received a token of the property, but no, we don't have a token for the application. And I'm so happy again because my wallet will be filled up with all these random tokens. And if they don't pay us out in Algo or USD for was it non-US investors. So I see that when they are using the token, they're using Algo and USDC, which I think again is a very smart move on their part. And
Yeah.
y'all beware, there's a fake Lofty AI token. They do not have a token on TinyMint.
Yeah. No, yeah, I
Yeah.
still have the interview pegged for, I think, this coming Wednesday. So I'm hopeful to get a video out with Lee near the end of the week, Thursday, Friday of next week, hopefully. But, right now, obviously, with people who are obviously investing in Opulus, it is one of those things that, as far as use cases, that is the biggest reason why I think you've seen this big plummet. I mean, obviously, not just the only thing. I mean,
The
you have to think,
market, the whole
yeah, every
market.
not, well, and not even that, but you got to think it started at 5 cents. Obviously, if you were in the private seed round, and it ran all the way to like $3.40 day one, and then it came back down, which a lot of people sold there. You saw a mini rug almost happen there. Came back to 60, 70 cents. A lot of people started buying. Money started pouring back in, and then you saw it run all the way to $7.50 something cents with
On
nothing really to other than some staking pools that they had. They had the
Yep.
staking pool on KuCoin. They had the staking pool on what are some of the other ones that they had? NFT or
Cubics or some shit
yeah,
like that.
they
Yeah.
they had some places where people could lock their Opulus up and earn, but that only goes so far when you don't have your app released. And it's kind
Yeah.
of like, I'm seeing a lot of people kind of, with the same thing with Zone's release coming up soon and then pushing their mainnet and their token generation event back a little bit because, it was supposed to happen, I think today actually was supposed to be their TGE, but it's pushed back to the beginning of February.
Oh my
I think
god,
some of
that's a
that could have
bad
been
sign.
yeah, I think some of that could have been the market conditions. I know they had to push back their last IDO, could have been that as well. But you're having all these projects. It kind of comes full circle to where we started talking. Releasing these tokens, raising all this money, creating all this hype before there is a product there. Now, I will say they do have the Big Zoo song that launched. They do have the Lil Pump song that launched, and Super Duper Kyle. Like I said, I don't know him as an artist, but his album is out, and Opulus is going to be listing all of his songs as SNFTs, so you'll be able to invest. And he has a huge following.
Yep.
But to your point, JT, it still comes back to the whole loop of when I bought my Lil Pump SNFT, I paid cash for it. I didn't pay using the Opulous token. So what is the use case for the Opulous token? Why not just have, at least now, like I get the hype around everything has to have a token. Like I understand that. I know that that's the whole crypto world we live in. There's 16,000, 17,000 cryptos. Like I get it. But as far as like a long-term use case, what will that token be used for? And I think that's that, along with the whole market slide, that's why you have investors pulling out and waiting, because they're like, it was a fun ride. We made some money, but I got to see more meat before I'm going to, long or really jump back into this. And that's why you've seen a lot of selling pressure, and I think some of it's rightfully deserved. I mean, but at the same time, it's only, Opulus has only been out since
3 months,
September last year.
Late September.
Yeah. So it's like, I mean, heck, I'll say this, because I was telling people on my YouTube channel to buy it at 60 cents, 70 cents. And obviously all the way until November, it looked bullish that it could keep running past $7. So like, if you bought it and you sold and you made a bunch of money and you're buying back in now, I have no idea why you'd be pissed at Opulus.
Oh, no. Like, it's just again, I just think about IPO access. I always think about stocks. Is like a lesson learned. If there's no product, be wary. Not saying Opulus isn't a bad product, but it's like for these places, like it's damn near better drop the product. Like with Lofty, drop your website first, get traction, and then drop your token, and you're less likely to have that problem. But they're all doing the reverse, which I think part of it is that I don't think Opulus needed the money, but I think like a lot of these cryptos need the money to even do their product. So they sell us a token to fund their product. And I think that's what's actually happening. And I know Opulus, they're not them, but most of them, I think I think that's what's happening. And I think
I wouldn't even say Opulus to an extent. I mean, you'd have to go look at all their tokenomics to see how much is going towards each thing. But I mean, it's kind of, I've seen a lot of people talk about, this whole DeFi explosion is just a bunch of VCs, earning a bunch of money off of the retail investors investing in these things, hoping for, the 100x, 1000x potential after the launch. And it's almost like IPOs with stocks. I mean, you see the whales and the people who can get in, they get in at a price like, Opulus, for example, you got in at 5 cents, and look what it did day one. It ran all the way to 340. People sold whatever they had. It came back down. They saw a potential, like, oh, this thing's not done running yet. They bought back in. It runs all the way to 750. They sell again.
And double up. That's what they did with Coinbase. Like, people bought Coinbase. Nas, rapper Nas, I don't know if y'all listen to him, and Gary V, but they bought Coinbase in 2015 and 16. So when it hit IPO in 2020, they've already made their money, and then we got left holding the bag. So it may not recover.
The IPO is often seen by the early investor as their ticket out. So it's when the public is super excited to get in, but it's when the private investors are excited to get out.
That's why they're so excited when they're ringing that bell on New York Stock Exchange.
Like, what, Robert Kiyosaki, he said what they do is, exactly what we described. It's all about, the private sales, and then they hype us, what JT said, so that they can dump. And then if they, if it's actually a good company, because I see Coinbase make so much money off of fees, now that it bottomed out, it might be a good play. And
here's
because it makes money.
If you are a true long, like if you really believe in a Algorand or Yieldly or Opulus or AlgoFi or any of these projects, Ethereum, Bitcoin, if you really believe, you would buy, and you would be able to just literally leave your investment alone and not touch it. But here's the reality is, I would almost say well over 50% of investors, but probably higher than that, of retail investors, they say they're long until this stuff happens. This is when all the research, the DD you did, and the research on Reddit and Twitter, and arguing with people, really comes back. You see people who are pissed and upset at each of these projects. They're even calling Yieldly a rug. Like, it's come on. No, you're just mad.
Bad communicators.
You're just mad you didn't sell. That's all it is. You're mad that you are bag holding now, and now you have to go back and think, well, did I really do enough research on this project? Is this thing really going to turn into something down the road? And it's like, that's what so many of the Twitter, obviously I'm on Twitter. I love interacting with the community, but
Twitterverse.
that's why I don't get into so many arguments, because I feel like I'm a true long. Like, if you want to know how long I am, I'm still holding my Opulus that I bought at 60 cents, 70 cents. Could I have sold? Yes. Should I have sold? Probably. But hindsight is always 2020. So, I could have sold at $6 and it could have ran to 20. And then everybody would have been laughing at, then there would have been, the other side of it. But it's like,
Yeah,
if you really think long term, like, can Opulus really change the music industry?
I
Can
think
it do
so.
what it's set out to
Yeah.
do? Can Algorand really disrupt the blockchain industry? Can it do what it's saying it's set out to do? And if you really believe and have conviction on those things, I think you can hold through a 4 month, wave. Because I always say this: go look at Ethereum or Matic or some of these big cryptos that are out there. If you really look at their chart, all-time chart, you'll see so many times they started at, say, 10 cents or 50 cents, and they rode high. But then if you follow it all the way along, it'll go all the way back down to 10 cents like 3 times.
Yeah,
Before
Bitcoin did it,
inevitable-
Ethereum,
Yeah, before that
Apple,
really
Google
big
did it.
pop. And then when the really big pop comes in, that's when everybody FOMOs in. But it's like, if you're one of the people just holding and you're not worried about that and you see the potential, then you can ride the ups and downs. And if you want to, you can swing trade it. But I still think the people who make it out best in the end are the people who just buy, hold, stake it, earn that passive income. Because it doesn't matter if this time you timed it right. It only takes one time to time it wrong, and you screw yourself.
Facts.
Yeah, I mean that's a great reason why dollar cost averaging is absolutely key, because I mean even Amazon, as I believe was mentioned a little while ago, they busted in 2000 when the dot-com bubble happened.
Yep.
And they dropped like 95% and took almost 14 years to get back to all-time highs. I mean that would be devastating for whoever bought at the top of the 2000 bubble.
Yep.
However, if you dollar cost averaged all the way down and then all the way back up, by the time it got back to new all-time highs, you would have made so much money because you dollar cost averaged along the entire way there.
Shit, even if you had just waited, you would have won.
You would have won, but you would have came out heavy if you just continually put like 10% of your paycheck in over the course of those 14 years. By the time it got back to your original buy price, you'd have a shit ton more money that way. So I mean, this is one of those reasons why, I mean, dollar cost averaging in and out is super important. You don't want to ape in with all of your money right away, and you also don't want to ape out with all of your money, because you never know. You might have timed it wrong. Like, I should have left more Opulus in as a bag when I exited, because I exited with like 80% of my money because I was really convinced that was the top, and then it went to like 750. It did take a violent downturn since, so it still worked out. But I mean, in reality, I probably should have left a little bit more of a moon bag to try to take out at another higher price. But
we should just start a whole YouTube channel about not dollar cost averaging in, but dollar cost averaging out.
That's not.
I mean, that's what I do. I like to shave, as they say, shave off, as it kind of, depending on how staked I am. But yeah, it's about shaving up and down.
Yeah.
Yeah, and people should also be aware too that where did their staking rewards come from? I mean, there's a lot of tokens that seemingly got hit hard. I mean, I know we're talking about Opulus, and that there's like 2 or 3 different staking pools for Opulus currently. And where do all the rewards come from? Whether it's Yieldly or Opulus or any of those other staking pools, 9 times out of 10, they all come from inflation. So those tokens that you're getting are new tokens entering circulation. So yeah, you're earning a yield, but your token is also being diluted in the process because those new tokens are entering the market. So if demand doesn't keep up with the increase of the token circulation, and if there's more tokens entering circulation than there is demand for that token, that's going to crush the price of the token. I mean, I know you just had an episode where you basically discussed the same exact thing, C. Will, with the Algorand price, because there was a lot of dilution in 2021 that outpaced the demand for the token, and that's why you could see large discrepancies in the market cap and the price of the token, because they weren't connected, because at a certain point the market cap was growing far more significantly than the price, because demand couldn't keep up with that influx of those tokens. So that is something to 100% keep your eyes out for. I mean, I know a lot of people are drawn in by those crazy yields that you see on Yieldly. I know, like we said, Choice Coin had like 10,000% APY, but what is that really? That's also 10,000% inflation. I mean, maybe not exactly
Inflation.
10,000%, but it's heavy inflation.
Yeah.
Especially like you said, if we're not buying it up, then we're diluting our, for the yield, which is the give and take of the situation. And that's
Exactly.
why I don't like coins like Choice Coin, because it doesn't have the value that I see that Algorand has.
Well, that's
Yeah.
also part of the concern with Opulus, because if you look at Opulus, it's only about 5% of the coins are in circulation right now.
Yep.
There's not a clear use case for the token, and I find it troubling to even speak negatively about it because I have a fat bag of Opulus. So I obviously don't want to panic people into going to sell something that I hold a lot of because I don't want the price to go down. But I mean, if we're keeping it real, only 5% of the tokens are in circulation. There's not a clear use case yet for the token itself. Opulus as a concept and as a business, I love the concept and the
Yep.
business, but the token, there's not a clear use case for it. And the inflation is heavily outpacing the demand for it currently. And when you look at the token release schedule, there's still like 95% of the tokens that need to enter circulation over the next 5 or 6 years. Is demand going to keep up with that heavy inflationary release schedule? And that's something that, of course, we have to wait and see.
Yep.
But I'm hoping for the best with that one. But like I said, I'd also not like to hope. I really want to hope. I really want to see
Don't
the
like the hope.
Yeah, exactly. I really want to see the video that you will have with him, David, because I have strong hopes he'll come on your channel, and
Yeah, we
I'll
gotta
make.
drill them.
Yeah, for sure, because I mean, the community really needs to know like how useful will this token be? Because there are a lot of people that are so bullish on the concept that don't separate the concept from the token, and that's something that really needs to be done in the space because a lot of projects out there don't need a token.
I'll say
No,
this,
they
just because
don't.
I've had people, that one Cookie Monster guy, he comes after me on Twitter all the time
Yeah, he
whenever I
does.
tweet anything about Opulus.
No,
But
Crypto Monster,
yeah,
Cook or whatever. Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
He go
I
hard.
wish
Yeah.
he'd show up in the chat. He'd like this. But here's my, because he was arguing with me last time about this, and I was like, you know what? Here's what I'll say. If Opulus, if this team, if Lee Parsons and who they've hired, the people they've added to the team, if their idea for Opulus token was just to pretty much get rid of it down the road because you know what, we don't need a token. We just wanted to raise a bunch of money and we're just going to go forward with cash or however they would evolve if they didn't use the Opulus token. It just seems like a lot more to do and really stupid. And you really think that if they built this and they didn't have a use case or a plan to use the token in the future, you really think the community would stick around and people would even use it? No, they would leave and this thing would fall on its head. And so I'm saying if it's a rug pull that ends up happening, then you
I
know
mean, it
what?
kind of
They got
already
my
has
money.
fallen on its head,
Yeah,
though.
yeah.
Right.
I'll say this one's not the terminal. I wouldn't say it's a rug pull. This was just, what we call bad. It was bad.
Yeah, it wouldn't have
It's
worked
like
out.
Smilecoin. This is just bad. They didn't
Right.
rug.
But
They're not doing great business in terms of this token.
yeah, but I do
Yeah.
think here's the bullish side for those who are here. It's like when their app is released, which we've been told it's coming the end of this quarter, beginning of next. I think even some stuff possibly by the end of February, so maybe a little bit earlier than the end of this first quarter. But the app can release, and you can not only, obviously I'm earning money from the Lil Pump royalties. I want to see that check come April, the first royalties payment. I want to see not only am I earning USDC or cash, but also earning the Opulus token with it. And I want to be able to see how much I'm earning and be able to track it on their app and have, like you said, a use case for the Opulus token, whether if they limit it to the only way you can invest in these people's songs is you
That'd be
have to
smart.
buy using the Opulus token. That I think should be the use case. Like what other use case for the Opulus token is there? I think that needs to be it. And if that is it and they do it, the community they're building, I think, will be strong. And that is the type of community that could rocket them, even with the supply coming into the market, I think, into a top 50 crypto, which right now may not seem like much, but 5-10 years from now, as the whole crypto markets, grow, it's going to be huge.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. It could be. I mean, we just really need to see how Opal ties into it because as of right now, their latest release is talking about staking on the platform, and like that's exciting and all, but like that basically makes the token just as useful as it currently is. You know what I mean? Like you can stake it. You can stake it on KuCoin right now. You could have staked it on Yieldly if you got in on time before that pool ended. So I mean, it's already been a token you could stake. So that's not not
Yeah.
that exciting for me. I mean,
Right.
in all
Well,
reality.
it's getting to the point where it's like we as the consumers, we want more than just damn staking.
Yeah,
Because
I mean,
it's just that
what
simple.
what is a yield on a token that doesn't have any like actual value to it? I mean, you
What's
know
the
what I
yield
mean?
on the token that drops
Shipping.
90%, right?
Well, that
So
I mean that too. But if like if the even if it, any token, I mean, just like let's not even pick on Opulous here, but like any token that's giving you a yield, what does that yield even mean if the token fundamentally doesn't have a need to exist? So
Yeah.
like that is just
yeah,
really something everyone should ask of
I will
any
say,
project, not just
I
Opulous
will
for
say for
sure.
this, and I'm going to even mention, I think, with Lee on the interview, but just to get his reaction, I do like how they released Super Duper Kyle's album. Like it's out right now. You can go listen to it, and then you'll be able to invest because obviously, with the song, with Lil Pump song coming out, you had like a 10-second or a 15-second kind
clip,
of
snippet.
clip of it, but
Yeah,
you didn't really get to know fully what you were investing in. And obviously, the song
it's
comes
later.
out, a lot of people are throwing trash at it and saying it's
I'll
awful.
say
And
we did know. We was buying Little Pump. I
yeah,
to be
right, right.
transparent, somebody asked me about that shit. And I said, listen, I think that it's a great investment because it's Lil Pump. I didn't say anything about this song. I don't
Right.
care
It's
about
and
Lil
it's
Pump's
actually
music.
doing really well
That's what I'm
because of how
saying.
bad it is.
Yeah,
And the thing is
Lil
too,
Pump's a terrible artist, but he can sell as
the
a
thing is too,
businessman. You know,
I mean, did you see the TikTok by Soldier Boy?
yeah, he
no.
didn't wasn't into it. But Soldier Boy again, he sells. Soldier Boy is a
Yeah.
pioneer and is a game changer. So me, I'll buy it again. Like, give me the streams. No, I won't listen. Like,
But as I was saying, the ability to hear the music before investing, I think, is good. Like unless you just fully trust, like if Mumford and Sons was to drop an album, an SNFT, and I could invest in it, I don't even have to hear the music. I'd put my money there because I
yeah,
love their
I
music.
hear what you're saying there, David, but like that becomes really hard with new music that you're trying to like have heard for the first time when you release it, because how can you guarantee that these early investors that might invest in your music aren't, pre-recording it as they're listening to it, or sharing it before it's supposed to be released or anything like that. So I don't know. That one's like a double-edged sword for me as like as an artist that might not want their song out there until it's actually supposed to be released and able to be
yeah.
purchased. So I could
I
see that
think
go.
yeah, I think selling. I mean, unfortunately, selling the artist works for me because it's like I don't need to listen. I know by track record alone, I'll look
Yeah.
up their analytics. So sell me like that. But yes, what JT said. We do not want the song to be just like out already. What's this one?
Yeah.
You
Right.
actually
Well,
listen to
I'll
it.
also
He
say
thinks he's
this.
as
One of the
shocked as we
questions,
are that he's famous.
one of the questions I'm going to
Joker,
ask you
shout
is
out to
like,
Joker.
how fast is this process going to take? Like, because right now, obviously, we're seeing months at a time from initial investment all the way to song release to royalties being paid out. I hope, just like everybody will, and I'm sure this will play a huge factor in Oculus,
Oh, I got a question for you, David.
being
Too.
that future, that we want is it's got to be fast. It can't be, most investors aren't going to want to wait to see everything happen, at a slow pace. They want to be able to invest in it and, if possible, immediately be earning rewards. But obviously, even if it's quarterly, at least immediately be able to start tracking the rewards and things like that and whatnot.
So money play, David. I need you to ask because I forgot to keep bringing this one to you. What about sync licensing? I know we're still in this video right now, but sync licensing. Because if I can get my little pump song in the next Marvel movie, we don't care what the song sounds like,
Right.
Have you
right?
been keeping up with what Dequincy is doing?
What's that?
You haven't heard it. You should look into Dequincy, because Dequincy is basically trying to. I don't really. I don't want to
I got
butcher what
Google.
their mission statement is, but they're a music related company that's basically trying to help license, like basically exactly what you were saying, bring music licenses on chain essentially, and
Hmm.
do a lot of what you were just talking about. I know some of their advisors. One of their advisors is actually one of the music teachers out of Berkeley Music here in Massachusetts, and they have a lot of
Yeah,
support from the Algorand Foundation. You should definitely look into what they're doing, because
yeah.
I, of course,
Sequencing.
and everyone should too, because I'm going to butcher their goals right here, so I'm not even going to try to attempt it. But I think you'd be surprised at what they're trying to do.
Okay, because I think that right there, that's what another play for Opulus is that if they got the plug in the pool, essentially selling songs and now in this way, like again, I'm just doing Lil Pump for example. Let's get him on 2K22, Madden, and in a Marvel movie. We don't need this shit to be rotating on Spotify. All the money will come directly from that deal right there. So
All you
there's
need is one of their songs to go viral on TikTok.
that's it, or
Yeah,
even that. So it's
it's
kind
like
of
the
like
last
how we
was
position.
yeah, his Gucci Gang song or whatever. Like
Yeah, one of the that song is. I mean, actually, I liked it that song, but that song was everywhere. And if I could have bought that song, we would all been fucking rich.
yeah,
Like,
I am interested to see what it's going to look like for, I think they said when they launched the SNFT, I think they said the average investor put $500 worth of money, which means
I
they would
should
have
have
bought
put more.
five SNFTs because each one was priced at $100. So I'd be interested to see not only, in the first quarter with this song launching and obviously with the Big Zoo song launching, because that's two totally different artists. I'd like to see what the difference is, how much money is made, and also what does the marketplace look like down the road. Like, say this song really does start to take off, or say a song you invest in starts to
Could
take
you
off.
sell it, huh?
Yeah,
Yeah.
or and I believe Opulous is going to have their own SNFT marketplace, like on their app,
Yep.
where it'll be a secondary place where if you were an early investor on Lil Pump song, and say 6 months from now, it's
You
got
hate
to
the
do
song
like,
and you want to get you want to get rid of
yeah,
it.
someone's doing a dance in the Super Bowl and it goes like making fun of it or something and it goes viral or something, that might be a hot NFT that you could sell and make a lot of money on. So that's
Yep.
another thing that
Yep.
maybe even Lil Pump would go buy. I don't know. There's a lot of
No,
if that, but
to be
it'll be.
honest, I do think the NFTs will be worth be probably what are going to be worth more money than Opulus. The one thing I want to say real quick, and then we can move on to the very last topic and get out of here because we've already
Yep.
been going on for a while.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I think an interesting use case for the Opal token could be some sort of profit and revenue sharing, because if they're selling all of these SNFTs and whatnot, maybe they could share in the profits of the Opulus company itself with the community and treat Opal tokens almost like as a dividend of sorts to share in the profit of their company. But that actually is literally a perfect segue into XBacked, which I want to discuss real quick before we get out of here. So I'm just going to click on this real quick, and this might be hard for some people to read. Let's see if I can zoom in on it real quick. Yeah, so Algorand Governors Club made a great write-up on XBacked, so I just want to read his threaded tweets real quick, and let's get it in there. Here we are. Awesome. So XBacked is building decentralized stablecoins on Algorand. Similar to DAI, stablecoins on XBacked will be backed by crypto assets. The first stablecoin XBacked plans to release is the ALGO-backed XUSD, but they will support more stablecoins and collateral types in the future. In addition to XUSD, XBacked will have a governance token named X. X token holders will participate in governance, i.e. staking and voting, of XBacked, and in exchange provided with a generous 80% cut of the protocol's earnings, which is amazing because this governance token, X, will not only be the governance and voting token of the XBacked platform, but it'll also give you the right to an 80% cut of the protocol's earnings. So let's go more on this. XUSD token will be the USD pegged stablecoin backed strictly by ALGO. Due to the DAO structure of the protocol, no central authority controls XUSD or any of the future coins the protocol will create. It will be a community-created and governed asset. And then let's see if I can zoom out of here real quick. Sorry. Boom. Let's see. There we go. Sorry about that. And we're back. XBacked always considers one XUSD token to $1, and it will maintain that value through over-collateralization and arbitrage trading. New XUSD can be minted when users open a vault on the protocol, and to create a vault, users have to deposit collateral, i.e. ALGO, equal to 1,000 or more. As of now, the two initial use cases for XUSD will be a medium of exchange and staking. XUSD staked on the XBacked platform will be used to liquidate the riskiest vaults on the protocol. Liquidators are entitled to 10% of the protocol's earnings and collateral from liquidation events. So at this point, you may be thinking, okay, cool, but why are you so excited about another stablecoin? And to be honest, for us, the most exciting initial feature of XBacked will actually be its governance model and token. with possibly the coolest token name ever, X. And I completely agree because essentially, as I just read to you, holders of this X token will also be the liquidators, which are entitled to 10% of the protocol's earnings and collateral from liquidation events, and entitled to that 80% of the protocol's revenue in general. So that's essentially being the X token will not only be the governance token for this platform, but it'll also be the token that gives you 90% or rights to 90% of the protocol's revenue or proportion of that, depending on how much you own, which is absolutely amazing and like a complete game changer. Because when I was first researching XBacked, I was trying to figure out how is this stablecoin and platform different than what AlgoFi is trying to do with their lending protocol. And it seems on the surface not terribly different because it's also going to be a similar lending protocol with a stable coin that's backed through over collateralization, but this governance structure is unlike anything I've seen anywhere else. I mean, on AlgoFi, you're not raking in a bunch of money from all these liquidations. I know some people. I know there is a little bit of that, but you're not achieving 90% of the protocol's revenue by holding the governance token. And I just thought this concept was really interesting and a concept I wanted to bring to the community's attention. So if you guys want to just say your thoughts on it real quick before we get out of here.
Well, I did speak with one of the XBack guys that he's supposed to be on my channel. We'll see about that, but I think the idea is a good idea. I just have to see if they execute it. I would buy in because I love passive income and royalties. That's my thing. So if they can pull it off, I'm into it.
Hey, they're building on Reach, just to let the community know that they are building on Reach, and I do believe it's one of the more anticipated projects by a lot of the like CEOs and developers I've spoken to on my show. It's not just like a hyped project that random Twitter accounts are discussing. Like a lot of important people in the space are definitely becoming pretty excited about XBacked for sure.
Yeah, so, I haven't done a lot of research on it yet. A lot of it's just because so many of these projects are coming up, and
it's too hard to keep up.
Yeah, I'm ignoring. That's honestly, it's it. I'm ignoring a lot of the hype and a lot of the ones that are out there. Just because I don't know. I'm not even putting them on my channel because I'm not giving them the time of day to potentially sway somebody into something that we don't know if it's legit. So
Yep.
I haven't actually. That's the first really that's probably the most information I've heard about XBack, but it definitely sounds like a good idea, especially with the stable coins and being able to earn that kind of revenue, on holding that token and the use case there.
Next month on Valentine's Day, actually, they will be my date, and I will be doing a show with Austin from XBacked on this channel. So everyone be on the lookout for that. I forget what time we agreed on. I think it probably like 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, but I will be getting
Austin,
that information out there.
Austin, yeah,
he's brilliant.
Australia.
He's younger than I thought, I'm pretty sure, but he's a really, really smart kid for sure.
Like 25 maybe or something like that. Yeah, but he seemed like real chill. Again, a lot of projects, but it always like at this point, I'm waiting. I'm gonna wait. I'm not buying no initial coin offerings. I'm not buying any of that. I'm waiting.
And to get back to, to like expound on that point, that's another reason why I actually really like this XBack project, and I really like what AlgoFi is doing, because what they're doing, unlike other projects, are creating a use case for their token first. AlgoFi, for example, created this lending market, is creating a decentralized exchange, and then is baking in utility for the token that they're not even going to launch first. They're going to launch it like 2 quarters after they launch this decentralized exchange. So, they're going to have a working product and build in a bunch of use cases before ever even launching the token. And I'm unsure how XBacked is planning to do their token launch, but from the way I understand, and testnet happens like next week or something like that for XBacked, but the way I understand it, the use case will be baked in before the token sale happens, and which is absolutely the way all projects should do it. I do understand that there is some initial funding that can come from a token, because it's a double-edged sword. Because if they can't sell a token first without a working product, that means people that have great ideas, like you or I, an average person that might have a great idea, can't start a project because we don't have money unless we go begging to these rich people for like a grant or for funding, and then we're beholden to these rich people. So for the smaller guy that might have a great idea, launching a token could be a great way to raise the capital you need to follow through with the project, but it is a lot riskier because you have to follow through with the project. You don't actually have the project done.
Yeah,
Uh,
that's what's
but I,
scary
but
to me.
but it's tough because I don't want to see that totally go away, because there could be a brilliant person in the Algorand community that just doesn't have the connections to, go to Arrington Capital and get, funding or
That's
something
true.
like that, but has a great idea and maybe funds it through some sort of token launch. But of course, I feel like all of the warning signs should be out there that, like, this token is used for funding the project right now, and utility will come in the future, so investors know what they're getting into. Uh,
That's
but
one thing Loudify or Loudfy or whatever did not do, right? Like they didn't they didn't say that we're fundraising and we, like just more transparency is what I'm always pushing.
yep,
Um,
yep.
yeah, that's all I would say about that. But I'm watching. I would say I got X back on my watch list for sure.
All right. Well, you should keep it there. That should just about wrap it up. I don't know if you guys have seen any comments in the chat that we should
There was
discuss real
one
quick.
algo nice, but what if, which I feel like we kind of covered that. Said, what if to control the power of the ex-govs, their sole responsibility is to research and vote among themselves about what to present to the remainder of the governors. Ex-govs don't vote with community. And that's kind of what I was kind of mentioning earlier. It's like if there is this like select group
Hmm.
of special governors, and even if there's other governors who go into it and are these ex govs, but they don't really have an idea of what to propose to be voted on, would it just end up being a centralized, I guess just a certain amount of people who know what they want to introduce, and then everybody else is just like, oh, okay, yeah, this makes sense, let's just go with that type approach.
Yeah, it's really hard to conceptualize how it's going to plan out because, like I said, I mean, we read through all of the information that's already out there. So there's really not that much information on how this is actually going to roll out and how it will work. So I'm kind of just, before I have any strong opinions one way or the other, I'm just waiting for Algorand and the foundation to release a more detailed idea on how this concept would work. Because on the surface, I like the idea of tiered governors, and I like the idea of people in the community having the ability to propose votes. I just really want to see how the mechanisms are and how they plan out.
Yeah. I'd also
Yeah.
like to see if it's just gonna, if there would be like bigger votes and then smaller weighted votes, like just like if there's just small things, small changes to the protocol and whatnot going moving forward, or if it's always just going to be a big vote, or if there's just going to be smaller votes throughout the governance period, or if it's just going to always be this one open window for one vote and that's it.
Well, we're watching I think some of those first Algorand all hands meetings. That was some of the questions, like how do we propose ideas? And I guess this is what they came up with, is like this X back is the way that a regular person could propose. That's what I'm thinking. I do remember talking about it, and no one knew how could we actually propose things. So
Yeah, I think this governance vote, if it does go through in the way that the foundation recommends, it could lead to multiple votes in the future because we have multiple parties being able to propose votes. Uh,
but it's like
I'm
what
just
JT said. Sorry, the guy with if the non big venture back guys, if they have a great idea, this is where you put it, though. I think.
Yep. And I mean, as much as I don't want to see any voting centralized, you also have to also understand that, a lot of these whales also want to see their token price appreciate. So,
Mhm.
they're not going to, I mean, they might not propose things that we particularly like, but I don't think they're going to propose anything to sabotage anything. And we also have to understand that we're just voting, aside from how governance works, the governance structure is just voting on how the foundation spends its money. It's not voting on like what upgrades are going to happen to the
No,
blockchain
no.
and
Yeah.
and things like that. It's voting on where the foundation's going to spend its money. Are we, I can't wait for those votes because I would love to have real discussion on how we're going to spend money on more marketing, on which DeFi protocols or concepts we're going to give more funding to build out, because there's concepts like the metaverse, there's concepts like DeFi. What's the next concept? Maybe we should find that next concept and fund it and build it out. So those are the types of questions that I really want to see. I think the early stages, we're having votes on how governance is going to be, and once we get that all out of the way, we're going to have much more important votes on where that money is going to be going, and I really can't wait for it.
Facts.
Yep.
Well, closing out.
Let's wrap it up.
Yeah.
All right, everybody. I really appreciate everyone that stayed to the end of this video. If you're not following Crypto for Change and C Will, definitely go do so on Twitter and on YouTube. There should be links down in the description below, and I appreciate everyone staying to the end.
Yeah. Thank y'all too.
Shout out to everybody who stayed. Thanks for watching.
All right, we're wrapping it up. Take care, everyone.
Peace, y'all.
Peace.